Welcome to this week's edition of the Martial Arts Business Success Podcast. We're at the fourth part in this series, but episode 121. So, my good man, we are doing this for a while. It's been a couple of years where we've been having fun, spitting out some great stuff weekly. And I think it was earlier this year that we decided that we wanted to piece a series together each and every time we do it to give you guys a chance to dive in a little deeper on some of the content we've done in the past. So, fourth part. Up to this point, we've been talking about maximizing your assistant instructors. We had the first one was before class. The last two editions, episode 2 and 3 in this full part, have been on the floor, maximizing that. And now what we're talking about is when we start to transition off the floor, what happens, or at the end of the class in particular.
Yep.
Phil, take it away, mate.
Well, let's start off with, there's a couple of things that we like to do towards the end of the class. And one of the main things is when they've lined up, they're all finishing class, they've all lined up. Our assistant instructors are very aware of what's been going on in class, and they're paying very close attention to the good finder things. You know, we spoke about being a good finder early on. And so now it's time to reward some of the students in class for their effort in class. Whether they were fantastic at the skills, they just behaved, or maybe they're usually a little bit of a rat bag of a student, you know, we all get them, but they just focus today.
Yep.
So we have these little sort of badges that we like to use,
Yep.
the little merit badges, and they sew them onto their uniform. And they can be relatable to either the message of the month that we're talking about, and we have a message that we talk about each and every month, or it could be relatable to the actual skill, or you know, the attitude of the student as well. And these are things that the guys like to give out towards the end of class. Now, there's not only done at the end of class, we also do them during class as well.
Of course.
Because what we don't want to create is this expectation of knowing that at the end of class, the guys are always going to give away these things.
Sure.
We want to make sure it's sort of like a surprise. So during the class, we've spoken about how the kids sit down and the instructor's in that heart circle. Might be a moment there when the instructor goes, Graham, did you have a merit badge for anyone in class? And you go, yep, I do. Or you'll be holding on that to give someone at the end of class. So those merit badges, almost like we like call them like jelly beans. They're just like, as soon as you're a good finder, you're finding the good in everything you can do. And how can you reward someone without giving them a belt, without giving them a tip, without giving them something like a massive merit certificate?
Yeah.
What's one little sort of thing you can give them which would be a bonus for them?
So you've got a small win. Then we've also got a couple of levels up on this, and it's some of these are done weekly, some are done monthly, depending on, again, the class and obviously the student and whatnot. When you hand out awards that are large awards quite frivolously, they lose their value. So we do have merit awards, like a star award or an excellence award, that is given out once a week to a student who has shown exceptional skill sets, maybe on and off the floor. When I say skill sets, they may have had an attitude, they may have overcome a challenge, they may have excelled at school in their academic grades, helped out at home. Look, the list goes on. But that's something that it's up to our assistants to try and find them, nominate them, and to be able to hand out. But also, to flip out as well too, is once that award has been handed out, record that as well too. So we have a bit of a log that the assistants need to put down in there who that award was given to, because, you know, at the end of the day, with the school sizes that we have, we don't want to see anyone being missed, or even worse than that, doubled up on week after week or whatever else, because they clearly stand out. It's about sharing the love and making sure that all parties are, you know, being rewarded. Next level up, one more time again, is the future black belt, and this is given out once a month. And for us in our system, we have a reward black belt, which is a black belt with a white stripe. I know some schools use that as their standard belt for juniors, but for us it was just a rare belt that we can use that allows that kid to be able to wear that belt for the entire month and be like an instructor in that class.
Yep.
So these are the things that our assistants actually are actively looking for. Now, at the end of the day, when it's a big award, we may find that the final buck stops with the instructor, but generally you're going to find that it's about them nominating and giving some insights as well too.
Well, that caught me off guard. But at the end, so we're talking about end of class little quick wins, the badges.
Yep.
Merit certificates.
Yep.
Future black belt. And I think that the last thing sort of, I mean, there's many things, but one last thing that's even done sort of way after class, and I know a lot of martial arts schools still do them, but there's probably a lot that don't. especially living in the digital world that we live in. Everything's automated and done online, and email this and Facebook that. We still get our assistant instructors to go back after their class into the back office and literally write a postcard with Waymer branded, and write a nice little message about how good they did in class and what did they do well and all that type of stuff. And again, we have a log so they make sure that not one kid's always getting because different assistants will be in different classes, and students might get different assistants all the time. So we need the assistants to know that, little Johnny's already been given a card last week, so he doesn't need the postcard this week. So they'll find someone else that has done something well in that class. And look, I've got kids that do martial arts here under our school, and I know you do too, Graham. And there's nothing better as a parent, even a parent who's one of the owners of the school, that they rush to the letterbox and they see a postcard and they go, "I've got a postcard, Daddy, it's a dragon card, there's nothing better, because they never get anything in the mail. They don't get anything in the mail, so when they get this sort of thing, it's really special. Puts a smile on their face, and a smile on your parents' face, which is me in that case. And also, it reiterates and solidifies the reasons why we still do that.
Yeah, of course. And this is, if you can involve your assistant instructors in this process, it isn't a job relying on the business side, therefore it's not going to be something that is forgotten or something else is forgotten because this takes precedent. So getting their involvement, getting their buy-in is a great way to do it. And also what's really cool is building that assistant instructor up to be quite a great role model in the eyes of the kids who receive it, instead of always being the lead instructor or the main person of the school. So this is a share the love in so many different ways, and look, I can't encourage this enough about your off the floor routines that your assistants must do.
Yep. And there's the other things that you would do that maybe not assistants, but you should have set in your schedule as well. Of if your students aren't turning up regularly, you've got your DNAs, did not attend, all that type of stuff. So I'm just assuming that that's all been done as well. But I think to sort of cap this all up with 4-part series about maximising your assistant instructors, we've got a massive list of things that you should be doing over the last 4 episodes, but I can't stress enough, and I brought it up in the last episode, as feedback. If you don't have a place for your instructors to improve, for you to test and measure and improve their skills and abilities verbally, and being a part, all these things that we spoke about, if you don't have a way to test them, then they're never going to get better. So you want to make sure that you have a really legit, strong and to detail leadership program that teaches the assistant instructors of what to do. Don't just think that they should know it. That is going to cause massive failure if you're just expecting someone to know the things because you already know them. And the long way to teach them is to monkey see, monkey do. And eventually they'll get it, and if you're in class giving feedback, then that's great. That's an element of it. Do they have a set class where they're being learnt and taught how to teach and how to be an assistant? Do they have feedback and assessment forms? Do they get a chance to test and measure? Do they get in-class feedback? Do they have in-depth training every 3 months? These are the things that we provide, and we provide them because we know it gets results. And the proof is in the pudding. We've had guys who have been assistant instructors, pad pals all the way down the bottom, and now they're leading our schools. So it really is an amazing process, and I can't stress the importance of that, guys, of a real legit, accurate and in detailed leadership and instructor program.
Look, it's you've just hit the nail on the head there, Phil. And while you're talking, we always are reviewing our processes. We always look at things, and just currently we were talking about generational differences. We've talked about them in previous podcasts, and to be honest with you, you said monkey see, monkey do. In the old days, people were quite happy to learn that way. Nowadays, that ain't cool anymore. So unless you have a structured program, young people who are coming through your ranks will not last. If you take time, it takes, let's say it was 12 months before where you'd monkey see, monkey do. If you can't deliver those same skill sets in a 3-month period, you may not find those helpers are around to want to help anymore. So I think having some structure is key for long-term success for you as a business, but also long-term success at having your instructors and assistants stay with you. They've got to be progressing, guys. So I can't reiterate that enough. It's really important.
Cool, guys. Well, I think that has brought us to a wrap for this 4-part series on maximising your assistant instructors. Please, guys, if you have any questions about maximising your assistant instructors, any of the points that we've covered or anything that we may have missed, please add them in the comments. Wherever you're watching this or listening to this, please give us the feedback that we need to improve ourselves, because that's the deal. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. And to that, guys, later this year, depends on when you're listening to this podcast, but later this year, we'll be running our instructor development program. We run it twice a year. So please reach out to us on our email, admin@tima.com.au. Come and spend the weekend with us, do class tours, do roundtables, all that type of stuff. Come and see it all in action. And don't forget, if you want to be part of the community, guys, we have the TIMA Mastermind, and you get a $1 trial. For a whole month, you get to test out the TIMA Mastermind, get involved in the community, get some great resources, and help you get to the next level of martial arts business success.
Awesome, team. Looking forward to sharing with you some other great strategies in the next series. Keep your eyes and ears open for that. It's going to be an absolute blast.
And keep your eyes and ears open for Graham's new mug coming soon.